Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a successful project that I co-designed and built with my team in Nigeria. And one of the projects that I'm going to be talking about is the Rural Urban Rifle project. I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks as to how we're able to secure funding for that project and even an upscale grant afterwards. So if you're coming to my channel for the first time, welcome guys. I am Ioron-Aloho, a project and product manager working in the development sector. On this space, I talk about project management, travels and opportunities around project management and how to learn a project management role. For today, I'm going to be talking about a successful project that I built. So let's get into it. One of the projects that comes to mind that is really successful for me and stand out is the Rural Urban Rifle project. It's termed the RUR project. This project was an investigative project investigating sexual exploitation in internally displaced camps in Benue State. What my team and I did was, we basically went into the camps when we were working on the Red Dirt product, which is a product distributing reusable clothes pads to women in the camp. And a lot of times we hear them talking about a lot of things, how people come to distribute items and those items do not get to the end users. Subsequently, we started researching about this particular issue and how it was ongoing in the camp. With all of the things we heard from them, we decided to co-create this particular project. So we designed how we're going to interview and conduct participatory interviews to learn more about how distribution was being done at the camp. We discovered a lot of stuff. Some of these things ranged from how certain women were exploited for sex in exchange for essential needs. When humanitarian officers or good Nigerians, basically anyone distributes items to the camp, certain times these items do not get to the end users. Where do these items go to? They go to the people who were placed in charge certain times of maybe protecting the lives of these women, or sometimes the middlemen who were tasked with actually ensuring that this product gets to them. So what did we do? We conducted interviews on the people who were living at the camp, the residents at the camp. We conducted interviews with camp managers, with host communities who were living around the places where these camps were held as well. And we had a lot of shocking news, where certain times some of the women would even say they give their daughters out so that men have sexual intercourse with them in exchange for all of these material needs. And all of this we're able to really build on a project that was going to sensitize people at the camp of their human rights. So we designed a project that had investigated sexual exploitation, but also was looking to do a good, which was sensitizing the people at the camp. Because during the investigation process, we noticed that a lot of the women at the camp did not understand that they had rights to refuse sexual intercourse with the people who were asking them for it. And they also did not know that they were at liberty to say, oh, this product is something that has been given to me and I want need of it and all of those kind of stuff. So a lot of times they were actually very enthusiastic into getting into relationship with all of these people, because they knew that getting into those relationships would mean they would be able to assess certain needs. What we then did was we designed a curriculum, and these were things we had put in our project proposal. We designed a curriculum where we're able to teach them things around human rights, the rights of women, the rights of men. We designed curriculum especially for the camp officials, for the host communities, for the residents themselves, because the languaging and everything we needed to do was different for each category of people we needed to sensitize. And after the sensitization, we were able to start talking to them about really reporting some of these issues as well. How were we able to secure over €50,000 funding for this particular project? Here is what my team and I did. When we first identified this issue at the camp, we then went into the design, into the ideating of this particular project. So we started writing what this project was, what the problem was, and what the solution could be. And we didn't just sit and come up with a solution by ourselves. We're able to ask the people in camp, what do you think should be done about this issue that will keep you safe? What will be done about this project that you think will make you feel like you can access some of this product and keep your dignity? And they were able to share some stuff with us. Some of these things ranged from they being illiterate, they had no form of education, so they didn't even understand what some of those things meant. And again, there were very strict ways that the camp was operated in such a way that a lot of women were not in leadership position when the sharings were done. So in camp, they had something called block leaders. And sometimes these were the people who would also maybe count heads of house, and then distributions are being made. But there were little or no women in some of these roles. They spoke to us about this issue, and based on all of the things that they shared, we were able to put all of these things into our project planning. When we're ideating, we're thinking, How should we design this project in a way that was going to impact positively into the lives of these women, into the people who protect them, and also the host communities? Because obviously the host communities also had their issues with the people living in the camp. So we're able to look at all of these things together, and then we're able to curate what the solution would look like for us. The first thing we designed and we thought of was that there was lack of education. So that was a problem, lack of education. This was part of the reason why sexual exploitation kept going on in the internally displaced camp. There was the issue where women needed certain essential needs and depended on outsiders, depended on contributors for some of these items as well. So they needed to be empowered to be able to do certain things for themselves so that they don't entirely depend on people. We also noticed that the host communities as well, certain times could not coexist with the people who were residents at the camp. Certain times because there were issues around open defecation and stuff like that. What we then again did was we could try to have a sensitization program with people in the host communities as well as the residents, bring them together to hold discussion and seek ways for how they could coexist together. When we had matched all of these things together, then we started really designing what a successful project would be like. So we designed this project, and the first thing we said we were going to do was we were going to design a curriculum that was going to actually work on helping every single person attend to the issue that they had. Did you pause it? So the host communities were able to coexist with them. So we designed a project in a way that we're designing this curriculum to tend to the different target audiences that we wanted to impact. Who were the target audience? The people who were living in the camp, the residents. The host communities in which these camps were actually designed and built in. The camp managers who were tasked with taking care of the people in the camp as well. And then outsiders, basically, humanitarian officers, organizations who basically come into the camp to make distributions, businesses, and then the government. So we said there was a need. There is a different way that the government would kind of like interact with people at the camp. There's a different kind of sensitization that we needed to give to the residents and a different kind to the camp managers based on the need for each of these categories. For the host communities, we needed them to understand why the residents needed them. For the camp managers, we needed them to protect the rights of the residents. For the government, we needed them to implement policies that will help reintegration as well. And then for other people who were donating to the camp, we needed them to understand different methodologies of how they could do distributions in the camp to ensure that there were no highlanders into people who were hoarding all of those items they were giving to camp, and ensuring that whatever produce they give in the camp actually was reaching to the end users. Because a lot of times people were going into the camp to make distributions without actually tracking if all of these products were getting to the real end users. So we had tailored all of these things, and then we started with the investigation. We went back, conducted interviews with the host communities again, with the residents, the women, the children, the camp managers as well, and then we spoke to some high-level stakeholders in the community. Afterwards, we took some of the feedbacks that they gave back to us, and then we implemented it into the curriculum. We designed this curriculum, we launched it, and then we began the sensitization program in such a way that for every target group, we had different days that we're sensitizing them, different people having consultations with them, having conversations with them. Some of this discussion were like focus group discussion, participatory interviews, different ways to reach every single target audience. Why is this important? Because for every single project, the methodology that you use is different. For every single project, the way you engage your stakeholders will be different. So stakeholder engagement, for example, for the Rural Rifle project will not be same for our recent project that we're upscaling, right? Because the project aims and outcomes are different. The target audience could also be different. The way that you communicate with them will be different. Certain people, you want to communicate with them in local language because that is how they are able to like understand what you're saying. Other people, you need to use visuals, you need to use illustrations. Other people, you need to have face-to-face conversations. With other stakeholders, you just need to call them, talk to them, and they're okay with whatever you have to say. Understanding the different levels of stakeholder engagement that you need to do for each project that you have helps to make your project very successful. Overall, these are the top tips in having a successful project plan. Ensure that you understand what the problem of that project is, the solution that you're bringing to actually solve that problem, Ensure that the problem and the solution has been co-designed and co-created by the beneficiaries of that particular project, because you do not want to design a project that the people do not have any use of. So ensure that whatever you're doing, they've been able to contribute, to share with you what it is that an impact will mean to them, what a solution will be like for them. And then at the end of the day, you want to really tailor who your stakeholders are. Who are your target audience? How should you engage each of your target audience? How much money will it take to actually work successfully on this project? What should your resources be? Who are the team members that should really work on this project? For the Rural Rifle project, for example, we understood that a lot of language was going to be in the local language. A lot of discussions, conversations, a lot of even the illustration books we designed and all of that were retranslated into local languages. So we needed to have a team that was very diverse. We needed to have people that were grounded in the local language of the communities that we're going into. We needed to have people who were very passionate about community work. All of those people came together to work on this project. Again, for every project, you need to have different teams, because a team might be very good for a particular project and may not work well for a different project. There might be somebody who is good with communication and the person is not really good with maybe public speaking, communication on paper only. Somebody else will be really good with having local engagement with stakeholders. Somebody else is very good at communication, but not to the extent of having or engaging in those local conversations. Somebody else is very good with designing, with documenting. Somebody else is very good with maybe managing the entire process, organizing people. You need to understand the skills and the experience that each of your team members have before you build a team. So we're able to pick out every single skill that all of our team members have, and we're able to bring all of those things together to make the Rural Urban Rifle project successful. And this was a 2-year project that we implemented, and at the end of the project we're able to get an upscale grant again to implement this project at a larger scale and even ensure better impact. So I hope that you've learned today on how to build a successful project. In the next video, I'm going to be talking to you on step-by-step processes of actually how you build your project. See you next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Bye.